How many discounts does USAA Auto Insurance offer? Too many to say here. Multi-vehicle discount, safe driver discount, new vehicle discount, storage discount, legacy.
How many discounts will you stack up? Visit USAA.com/auto discounts. Restrictions apply.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.
Happy Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen. This is your PR princess, your timeless elite, whatever you want to call me, Stone Cold Courtney, with you on this Wednesday edition of WWT. I know a lot of everybody from the panel. We've been doing summer. We've had everything going. Summer Slams next weekend, but I am not alone. And this is a treat because this will be an all-ladies edition of WWT Live. And it's always good when the ladies are in charge. And I cannot have done it without my sister. Happy to have her back. The sweetest oos, honey.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. Yes, buzz, beautiful people. I'm so happy to be back here at WWT again. Second time in a week. I'm trying to just, make sure I keep this streak continuing. Your girl's been in and out of the honey pot for some time because it's been busy, but any way I can come in and, help out and show some love with the team, I'm always down. What's up, everybody?
I know you're always down because it's Wednesday and we know that you've been busy in the honey pot because, like I said, summertime, it's a busy time where everybody's taking off commitments, vacations, but we're here with all of you. And Dylan, you're in for a special treat because you're going to get a preview of AEW Dynamite tonight, top of the hour with yours truly, Timeless Elite Wednesday, not CEO Wednesday. It is Timeless Elite Wednesday. Top of the hour with me, where they are continuing their residency in Chicago, and it's Shark Week as well. It kicked off Sunday with Shark Week. You see right here the AEW World Heavyweight Champion Hangman Adam Page taking on Wheeler Yuta. Imagine this could be in chaos in any way possible. And we're also going to have my client, the reigning AEW Women's Champion, Timeless Toni Storm, taking on Billy Starks. And of course, you see Athena in the corner because her and Tony have been playing cat and mouse in this game. So far, these are the only two matches, but I'm sure there's going to be a lot of surprises happening later on tonight before we get on the air. And all of this is coming to you at the top of the hour at 8 p.m. on TBS, simulcast on Max. And honey, I know you don't watch a lot of AEW, but is there a match in particular or something you would like to see on AEW tonight?
I mean, it's right here in front of me. I got Timeless Elite and I have Athena like somewhere in the background. I'm totally good with that. My two favorite women's champions. I'm always down to see that.
I mean, it's always good for my clients. And Boza, thank you for mentioning that because Alex Windsor will be facing Athena this Saturday on Collision. And I think she may be my newest client because I have two clients that are on the shelf with injuries. But Alex Windsor, I'm pretty sure she's going to be lurking. But all this and more happening on AEW Dynamite, top of the hour with yours truly on Timeless Elite Wednesday. So, Dylan, you're welcome.
You got it right out the way for you. They were very vague. They've been, I guess more so like even with WWE, it's not just AEW, even with the other promotions, it seems like they're just giving away less as far as the previews, which is good because you don't want to give too much away. You don't want to be too predictable. You still want to leave some element of surprise. But I like that it's the second week. Pretty much going into after All In, pretty much the second week aftermath of All In, and they're still being very vague with what their plans could possibly be. It's like Tony's actually taking note.
I know, Tony Khan, and it's crazy. This is their second week in residency in Chicago, so I'm happy they are kind of not giving away too much, and they're giving away. Well, of course, Dylan, you're one of my favorite Australian people, even though you get on my client very much, but. Still love you anyway. But I think Tony Khan because even though sometimes he has his moments, there are starting to learn. But yeah, there may be some surprises because I mentioned they're on the road to Forbidden Door in London. I mean, we've seen the Death Riders beat up on Colt Cabana this past weekend on Collision, so who knows what other chaos is going to happen. So I do smell a lot of shenanigans and surprises.
I hear that.
But that's AEW Dynamite tonight. But let's talk about NXT last night. Honey,
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Did you watch NXT last night?
I sure did. I watched it. I watched an hour of it and then took a break. Had to pause because I was scheduled to be with the Kayfabe podcast last night. And of course, if you guys saw last night, Courtney joined us as well as the professor. They were our special guests for the Kayfabe podcast with Will and Dion. We had a blast. We did some really cool fantasy bookings as well as a very interesting blind five to say the least. And Ced joined us as well. So we had a full house. The crew felt really good and refreshing to have everybody back like together as well. So it was really nice. But then after that, after those lovely 3 hours, I did stay up a little longer to watch the second half of NXT that I did not see, that I paused. So I did see all of NXT and I was very, very thoroughly pleased. Very pleased. In any case, I wasn't sure if there was a watch along. I don't think I tuned in if Will did have a watch along because we did have kayfabe. So let's just go right into the good stuff. I mean, can we? First of all, the way Trick Williams sold this, the way he oversold, I'm going to say oversold because it was definitely an oversell. The way he oversold this chokeslam was hysterical. I don't know how Taker wasn't cracking up, like looking at him right then and there. The bug eyes, the lost, the doe-eyed face, and then his feet just wagging, like just completely going up and down. And I'm like, what is he doing and what is going on? But I was hysterical. I thought it was a great moment. This is just what happens when you bite off more than you can chew. And this is what we mean when they say old dogs could teach you new tricks. And in this case, Trick needed to learn a thing or two from the old dog. And he definitely showed him that. I thought it was a fun segment. Taker, man, it's always good to see the dead man whenever we have the opportunity, I think.
And he did it on NXT soil. That was the kicker. And I'm going to tell you, Trick's face, that's going to be a meme in the next couple days. That is so going to be a meme. But also, if you watch after Trick got beat up by The Undertaker, he had to stare down with Obafemi and JC Jane.
Yes, he did. And JC Jane just walked right in between them, first of all. She's like, excuse me, champ, coming through, double champ. And not for nothing, I kind of like that for her.
But yeah, we're going to talk about JC Jane. I know we talked a lot about it last night on Kayfabe podcast, but yeah, she is the double champ. She's the double champion. I mean, look, Professor said it best last night. And also, people tend to forget this is the first year NXT and TNA are doing their partnership. And also with the fact too, you would have never expected Moose to be on WWE soil. Never expected that. But we kicked off with JC Jane. She had her speech. And we had some surprises throughout the show. We had the Bougie Bully, Lash Legend, and Miss Parker, Jada Parker, coming out.
Yeah, I was very happy about that. I'm just glad that Lash Legend and Jada Parker are the ones that are next up, because it's been a long time coming for these two to grow into their own. I believe that they both have such great potential. The pop for Miss Parker was beyond. I was just okay. You know, you could obviously tell that the people are going for her. As far as, I mean, well, either way, I mean, honestly, it could go either way. This obviously would have to be determined first between the Bougie Bully and Miss Parker. And that's going to be a nasty match. So I'm just glad that it's these two that are next up to come at JC Jane. Of course, you have Jordan Grace in the mix still. However, yeah, man, I would suggest that JC Jane does her best to keep her friends close and her enemies closer, because taking all the credit for becoming double champ when you have a faction behind you that has clearly helped you every week is not a good route to go, because you're going to get back. It's going to backfire on you. You're definitely going to bite off more than you can chew, and you're going to think that you have it all, and your own people are going to turn on you. So I really think JC Jane needs to kind of just watch her back a little bit, and clearly her front and her sides.
That is very true, because when you're the double champ, you're going to have many targets on your back. And also next week, because Fallon Henley will be taking on Lash Legend, Jasmine Nix will be taking on Jada Parker, and also JC Jane will be making an appearance on TNA Impact this Thursday. And I'm very curious on what the rest of the Knockouts division has a lot to say. And there's one person from the Knockouts division, and I know we didn't talk about much of this last night on kayfabe. I would love to see Indy Hartwell get a shot for the Knockouts title. And the fact she's still undefeated, which I did not know until they mentioned in the Slammiversary. She's undefeated. That's
pretty crazy. That's a pretty cool fact for her. I like that for her. I mean, hey, any opportunity that they can provide for Indy in order to get her back on track, even though she's not completely into the WWE, she's still a part of the partnership through TNA. So there definitely can still be something built there. I'm happy that they haven't lost sight of her. So I'm just glad for her in any case of that nature. But also, I feel like there was a few other things from NXT that we should definitely talk about with the culling. I thought for some reason this image seems very interesting to me. I can't help but wonder if Izzy Dame has kind of overstepped, or maybe somehow made a mistake in bringing in Tatum Paxley to the culling just when we thought, of course, when you bring in more numbers, the army gets stronger. But in this case, Tatum Paxley fits right in, and she's easily become their new favorite in the faction. And she pulled off the win last night in a way where Izzy Dame didn't, or couldn't, or kind of not sure if I could say fell short. Maybe that might be a reach, but it kind of looked that way, because you see the look in the Culling's face. But then you look at Izzy Dame and the way she's looking at Tatum Paxley, and it's like, did I make a mistake bringing you in, because now you're going to completely undo everything that I've worked hard to build to be in this group? Or could they switch it up possibly? So I don't know why this image was very interesting to me.
Honey, I hate to cut you off, because it looks like people in our chat are not seeing the slides from yours.
Oh my God, what?
Dylan said it. Jeffrey, hold on.
There's no slides.
Hold on, let me see if I can.
None of these slides.
Can you guys check? Please check in the chat if you can see the slides that I just uploaded from WWT.
Dylan said.
Okay, Dylan says now he sees them.
Okay. All right. That was so weird. Okay. I don't know. I don't know how to explain that.
Okay, here we go. So people in the chat, I was like, thank God I caught that, because I'm like, okay.
Okay, so we're all looking at the culling, right? This is what we see. We see the culling now. I see the culling. We're talking about the culling just to make sure everybody is on track here. Okay. Now everybody sees them. Okay. Thank you guys for that, by the way. Thank you so much. Might want to start over this stream. Oh God. Anyway, so I felt like there's something interesting going on with the culling. I can't put my finger on it, but I feel like Tatum Paxley could easily swoop in and take Izzy Dame's spot, and she could easily be replaced for some reason. I feel like Izzy Dame would be fine on her own.
And my next question is because Sol Ruka, the last time she defended was the NXT Great American Bash. So of course she did beat Izzy Dame for that title. Why would you say Sol Ruka's title reign as an NXT North American Women's Champion has been? And who do you think would be her next opponent?
That's a good question. I feel like there's a few names that you can name. I feel like Thea Hale raises a good point. I feel Izzy Dame definitely deserves another shot. I believe Fallon Henley is a great contender. I feel like her and Sol Ruka would put on an amazing show. But then I would have to say that. Yeah, those three. I would name those. Those are just to name a few anyway. But I think it's a really touch and go situation with the women's division because there's so much talent. You know what I mean? So it's really hard to determine or to factor which card we're going to put which woman on. You know what I mean? Because not for nothing, for a lot of the cases, you could say that Sol Ruka could start heading into a main title picture soon. Maybe not just yet, but soon. You know, I'm not rushing it. I'm not putting any rushed activity onto NXT, and I'm just saying for something I see down on the long run.
Well, speaking of the long run, I mean, we have the lady that is running WWT. I mean, she's in the building. She has to take care of business, but we still love her anyway. Our boss lady, Miss TK.
We still love her anyway. I don't know how to take that.
I'm trying to.
Okay, thank you.
I was trying to be creative with this intro. I was like,
she's basically saying she's too busy for us, but we love her anyway.
Because you're taking care of business. You got to make sure that,
I mean, yes, there's great things. I just came off a phone call, and like I like to give some of y'all behind the scenes stuff. So expect ads coming, some live reads and stuff like that. So I'm super stoked.
Ads.
Yes, we're gonna be doing some live reads, and everybody but said we'll be getting some funds.
Oh snap! I know he heard that, and he's gonna jump in this chat room. But we were just talking about the state of the women's North American title at hand with Sol Ruka and how well the run is going. So, Boss Lady, what do you think about Sol Ruka's run? And who should be her next opponents? I gave a couple of examples, like maybe Izzy Dame, Thea Hale, or Fallon Henley as more potential contenders going forward. But it's really hard when you have such a stacked women's division and a stacked women's roster where any of these women can go in any card, whether it's to the main for the NXT title or if it's the North American championship for the women's title. But who do you see next up for Sol Ruka going forward?
Well, also I think you might have to take into consideration, I mean, since we have a double champ, TNA and NXT, maybe we can also look into TNA, the TNA women's division kind of stepping up as well. So I think anything is possible. I think that's a good question, because I'm wondering if it's going to shake out before like SummerSlam, or this is something that's going to be explored after SummerSlam. So, I mean, I think Thea Hill is what you're saying is a good candidate, especially everything that's happening. But what about, I was just trying to catch up on NXT that's happened yesterday, but have we seen Ariana Grace? Because I know she kind of made an announcement that, you're no longer going to be seeing her on TNA anymore. And, and we haven't really seen her in the ring. We did see her a little bit at TNA when she was partnering with her dad. But yeah, I mean,
a liaison.
Right. So is she like sitting on the sidelines because of injury, or, they're trying to figure out what to do with her? So, I mean, I think that might be, another option as well.
Hell yes. I would totally be down for a little Ariana Grace push after all of this, with them, just making sure that she's just being taken care of, and keeping her in the loop of that partnership. She obviously, not just being Santino Morella's daughter, but also being very extremely talented and extremely funny and very active on social. So I think she has definitely some capability to start getting that push going forward for herself as well.
Yeah,
very true. Yeah,
very true. And also, I have a question too regarding last night. Why was Dark State interfering in their match? Because that really confused me.
Yeah, and it was this match, wasn't it? It helped.
Yes,
It kind
it
of
was
helped
this match.
Tatum Paxley, right? It was
Yeah.
yeah. I thought I didn't kind of understand that. I didn't really understand that. I wasn't sure if it was more so directed towards.
You're on mute, honey.
Yeah, my mic keeps going off. I don't
Oh,
know.
I was like, hey, what just happened?
But it seems like it was gonna be towards the culling, but I'm like, they're not gonna attack the women. But they just stood there as a distraction, and basically Tatum was able to get the pin. So I'm not sure. I mean, maybe this is stating that they want titles. Maybe this, they're trying to target Hank and Tank or something. I don't know. But it was weird that it was this match and not the other match.
It was very weird because maybe it's time to get challengers for Hank and Tank, especially after what happened with Dark State after they lost to the System and Matt Cardona this past week on Slammiversary. So
Jeffrey saying that Tatum Paxley summoned them somehow.
Ooh.
MDB saying that's what Dark State does. They're attacking at random. So they're kind of like unspoken hitmen that just come out whenever they want to. But they technically didn't really do anything. They just showed up and then the lights went back on.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I guess going forward, we'll see what happens with that. I'm still not sure of what the purpose of Dark State is just yet.
Mm-hmm.
New Vitamin Water Zero Sugar Pineapple Passion Fruit is packed with vitamins, just like the amount of peas we packed in that sentence. It's packed like your tote bag, the one you stole from your ex, or your overpriced half a studio apartment, or extra rushed rush hour traffic. Packed like your calendar, triple booked at 5, of course. Grab a Vitamin Water. Did we mention it's packed with vitamins?
But I guess we'll see. The only thing that really matters is this, honestly. So the ruler is still the ruler, and that's all there is to it. Pretty much defeated Josh Briggs and Inamura last night. And Josh Briggs turned on his former buddy. So kind of saw that coming. This was pretty much the build for that. Oba obviously still proving that he is the ruler and always will be. I'm still not sure who's going to be the next one to try to take this man down, but you could try. You could try. You could try.
I mean, I feel like with him, we need. Do you think he's the face of the division, or who do you think, as far as the male face of the division? Do you think it's still Trick Williams?
I mean, he's the face of the NXT men's division in any case, but Trick has done this thing where he's transcended now into being the face of two companies.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Kind of, even though he doesn't have what JC Jane's doing right now, he still had NXT on his back for a while. And then now being the first NXT star to achieve something that nobody else has before him. I think that transcends him automatically, in regards to thinking that not that he's better than Oba, because that's not the case. But what I'm saying is that Trick Williams is a different path. They're both the faces of NXT, but Trick has a little bit more leverage because of that TNA partnership. But Oba kind of did that already beforehand. A little bit when he was helping out the Hardys and he was making that jump into TNA. The only difference was he didn't win the title against Moose. Trick won the title against.
Hey, this is Bill Simmons from the Bill Simmons Podcast, here to help you make the most of your summer with Michelob Ultra, a superior light beer worth playing for. Play for it with the guys when you're competing to see who can sink more birdies on the golf course, because winning tastes even better with Ultra on the line. Play for Ultra. Fill your fridge with Michelob Ultra this summer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025 Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
And then the thing too, it's gonna be interesting because I think we all saw, like, Moose kind of made that. I think it was like a post or something where he was saying, like, he did everything he could do at TNA, and he has. So do we think he's gonna make that jump to NXT? Because even him, and that would make a really great rivalry, like big meaty men slapping meat for at least 2 to 3 times for overtime. That would be interesting.
Oh my goodness.
Meat.
A lot of meat.
But yeah, I think that was a really good NXT. especially for it being still, coming down from Evolution, but we're still kicking things up because SummerSlam, Heat Wave, all that's
around
coming
the
up.
corner, literally
It's
2 weeks away.
literally
I don't even know.
Like a week away.
Like I don't even I don't even know what day it is anymore. And wrestling's on every day. So it's like, what happened this day? This happened when? Oh, I thought that was last week. No, that was this week.
It was this week. And TK, I have a question for you since you're Canadian. How did you feel about Ethan Page changing the belt to fully Canadian?
I thought that was a great segment.
I mean, I think it's given everything that's happening, like on both sides. Like I was at, for you guys in Canada, like I was at this Shoppers Drug Mart, which is like the equivalent like CVS or Walgreens or Rite Aid. Mm-hmm. And I just went in there to get a Gatorade, but I can't remember if it was like the card or the money or whatever. I didn't have Canadian money. And so I mentioned like, oh yeah, I don't live here. I live in the States. And, it was just the slight, like Canadians are not happy right now. And it's kind of, it's funny, but it's not funny. And we're not going to get political. I'm sure everybody kind of knows what's going on, but it's kind of like, I haven't seen Canadians with a disdain to like certain like politics, like ever. Like, just it was the cashier at the Shoppers Drug Mart that would, went on a little rant. And I was just like, okay. And like even a lawyer that I spoke to, it's kind of these subtle digs. So right now it's kind of like, I put it the equivalent of, you have a cousin, right? And your cousin's been like your best friend growing up, and then you guys become adults, and like the cousin just said something that's a little off-putting, and you're like, I'm not really rocking my cousin right now. Like we still family, but yeah, at the moment it's not, and that's what it feels like the Canadian American politics right now. Well, so yeah.
Well, we did get his appearance from Santino last night, and he's going to be challenging Ethan Page for that title. And I don't know if anybody catched it on socials, but everybody was talking about Ethan Page's belt. And if you watch WCW, it was pretty much similar to when Lance Storm was United States champion in WCW.
I like it. I mean, I like it for and I'm gonna be back in 1 second. I'm just doing something. I like it for the talk of it, because you're talking about it right now, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hilarious.
Santino will be facing off against Ethan Page next week for the NXT.
I was gonna say, what do we think about the moment between the young OG and the dead man?
Woo! I mean, look, Undertaker, he sees something in the young OG. He sees something in him, and he said, "Go after that belt. Go after that yard." So I would not be mine to see the young OG, because he was figuring out what he wants to do next and just figuring out. But
they're really I think they really might give us that David and Goliath story, man. It really might go down.
I'm for it. And I mean, Undertaker doing these I think moments. Oh, am I muted?
No.
Oh, okay. These moments are really good. Here comes my dog. She wants to be. Yes. Okay. So yeah, I think it was really, really great to see that.
Yeah. And you know what? That's true. If you get endorsed, like if you think about the journey, Oba's had quite the journey from being the breakout star, from NXT, and then going straight into becoming a North American champion and having one of the longest reigns and best reigns, and then also doing the same thing with the NXT championship. But you think about the journey of the young OG, you get endorsed by Randy Orton. You know what I mean? You were working with Trick, one of the popular faces of the brand at the time when he was, when he first had the championship. You're a breakout star on your own. You do all these high flying tricks that nobody's ever seen before. You're the youngest on the roster, and you're getting endorsed by someone who's literally was doing this since you weren't even a thought, my guy. And it's that to see something like that full circle for somebody so young, and to see Taker give these young kids their flowers, you know what I mean? Like that's a big deal. Like that a lot of people don't realize how much of a big deal that is for the individual superstar as well, because that's the Undertaker. We've had how many years of the Undertaker? Exactly.
It's kind of funny because I wonder if Triple H took this from, because do you remember there was a point, and this happened on the Breakfast Club, where a lot of like younger rappers were saying that the OGs weren't really like, they weren't reaching back and teaching them, or not teaching them, but like, you know, putting co-signing on them. Therefore, it's like, why should I give you guys any respect? I don't know. Right. Triple H picked it up and is like, let me facilitate this, or, you know, can you
right, because at the end of the day, we know that Vince wasn't, you know, when he was running NXT and Triple H was running NXT, he wasn't endorsing NXT or having his guys go down and help them. They would have to figure it out themselves. Get an endorsement like the Undertaker shows that you care about these superstars and you care about their journey, because these are the next ones that are molding the future of the product we are watching.
Right. And it's also just showcasing too, like, you know, like you meet people who, like, people have asked me about, you know, it's not even television advice. There was a friend of mine, her daughter's getting into the medical field. She'd moved somewhere else. And I'm like, one of the not biggest regrets, one of the regrets I had is just because I didn't really network as much in Toronto as I did in the US. And it's so important to just network wherever you are. And where, if you move, stay in contact with the, you know, and so those are kind of the things that, to be able to, you know, take, and, you know, if the person doesn't take the advice, then at least you did your part. But those are the things where it's like, okay, you're able to facilitate and give certain pieces of advice that person might never have known, that you might give them the advice now, but maybe 5 years from now, it finally clicks. Or if it never kicks, like you already did your part. So I think it's good to see, like, you know, Natalya is another one, you know, with the dungeon, and just in general, she's doing a great job as well. I mean, so many of the superstars, like so many of the superstars are, but when you get that cosign from somebody like the Undertaker,
I mean, we see it with Bayley, with Lyra. I mean, we saw it at Slammiversary with AJ Styles endorsing Leon Slater.
Mm-hmm. Listen, just endorsements everywhere. You get an endorsement. Everybody gets an endorsement.
Everyone.
Yeah. Next up is WWT.
There it is. It's coming. What do we got next?
Well, I guess speaking of endorsing, let's just go into Netflix. I forgot the name. Was this Carlos? What was the name of the executive? I forget. This is so bad.
It was like Gabe Spitzer, the VP of sports.
I looked at the wrong day. Yeah, Gabe Spitzer. I was looking at the TNA one. The VP of sports at Netflix, Gabe Spitzer, praises the success of WWE on Netflix and how it's currently doing. Obviously, we've seen the impact it's had since they've joined Netflix over the new year, how they consistently have superstars upon superstars, as well as Hollywood stars, and keeping it consistent. What do we think so far of this going on with Netflix, and being that, you know, Netflix seems to be very happy with it? Is this something that's going to obviously just going to continue to be something that continues to grow and into something bigger and better each time? Boss Lady, I'll start with you.
Mean, yeah, I talked about this last year. Wow. Last week, my frustration of being able to find things. I think Kyle did tell me about the VPN, which I may look at next time I travel. But like when I crossed over the border, certain things like Peacock wasn't available. And it was so great that on Netflix in particular, I was able to get Raw, SmackDown, the PLE, etc., all in one place. And, you know, I almost feel like Peacock should be a little bit worried, but I don't know what the money's like. I don't know what those contracts look like. But Netflix, if you remember, do you guys remember like Orange is the New Black?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So remember at that era, that time, Netflix was creating a lot of their own content. Now what you're seeing they're buying a lot of content. Like I know comedians, they make their own specials and then they sell it to Netflix and Hulu. Like the days of, you know, pitching something and then hoping for a network to make it is not as big as a thing as it was like 15 years ago. Mm-hmm. So and because the audience for WWE is so dedicated, then you bring in just the casual audience member who's looking at it, and the algorithms as far as how Netflix does things. Like if you notice the thumbnails, those thumbnails are ever changing. Like my thumbnails for Raw is different than what your thumbnail looks like, and that's based off of what you watch. So Netflix curates all that to try to get new people to watch. So I think it's a good look for, I don't know, how much is Netflix now? Like $15 or whatever it is. It's a good look, and I'm guessing they're making they have to be making money. So I think I said this last week, as far as what does the money look like? Like you pay like the $14.99 or whatever the membership cost is. What did that deal look like? Did Netflix pay WWE a certain amount in order for WWE to be on to bring more viewers? Or is there a split? What does that all kind of look like, like contract wise? But I think it's looking good. Like, and it all comes on the same time too. Because I remember at one time, when we used to do Raw on AfterBuzz, we had to watch the East Coast feed, and so nice that like everybody can watch it at the same time. You don't have to wait for like, the network and stuff like that. Yeah. So.
I mean, well, yeah, true. And the one thing I haven't really heard anybody complain about is the timing of how like Raw goes on Netflix. I don't think anybody really cares if it's like the 2-hour mark, 2.5, 3 hour, whatever it is. It's just give us the show and call it a day. But I am a little upset. Yeah, I don't think they should shut off the air so early, because we missed the tribal yeet on Monday. We missed the tribal yeet. I think that's something that would have been so worthy of being live for everyone to be able to see. Like that would, but I don't know. But that's just little minor things. Like that's just like little things there. But I think it's going really well for them. Obviously, it just keeps getting better and better. Each PLE gets bigger and better every time. And this is definitely showing that they didn't make a mistake making this move.
No, I don't think they did. I think they are doing on the right track, because I mean, they're generating a lot more money. They're getting a lot of exposure on Netflix, especially people who don't watch wrestling. I'm very curious on how they're going to do in Q3 and Q4, because Q4 is going to be very important. With the fact with Netflix, there are a lot of stuff happening. Plus, you're also going to be up against football too during Q4, because I think they're going to be doing some football games since they did so well last season. This is going to be very interesting with Q3 and Q4. But, they're putting the numbers in. And also, we are seeing some WWE stars guest starring in some shows on Netflix. So that is also an added bonus.
Lots of crossover.
Lots of appeal there, too. I mean, I guess at this point, there's nowhere to go but up. I mean, it would have to take really drastic measures for them to be dropped in a certain way. I mean, this is one of the most longest running shows on one network in USA. So Lord knows how long they could make this happen with Netflix.
Yeah. And then another thing too is, I mean, and I know people don't want to hear it, but it's just the evolution of like business and marketing and stuff like that. Eventually there's going to be a lull. This wrestling's not going to be as hot as it was before. But if you see how the evolution of Netflix and how it's gone, it's, at one thing it was everything, and I know people who don't have Netflix and they don't miss it. So, it just, I'm curious to see the ebbs and flows of everything. We're right now where it's like wrestling is everything. People are talking, even the casual fan knows what's going on to an extent. So I'm curious to see, when everybody's not on board, and everybody's not trying to knock on their doors, what's happening, especially when you talk about the influencers and stuff like that. So we'll see how it goes.
And also the unscripted show comes out next week. So
we are
the Unreal show next week.
Yep, I'm promoting that sucker.
I'm back. Hilarious. Well, I could say this with confidence. I have crossed over the border successfully. So shout out to America. But yeah, we will have a watch along for the unscripted script show, because
nice.
We have to see what that's really like.
Nice.
We're gonna have. I'm back in the country, and well, I am traveling again next week, but I'm going to be with computer and around. So for at least the next 6 weeks, I'll be in America. So we're going to get a lot of different shows. We're going to finish up some shows too that we started.
Well, all right now.
Nope. Just keep on moving.
I'm here for it.
And speaking of Raw, since we talked about it, you want to talk about Monday Night Raw?
Let's talk about it. We did. Speaking of said in the chat, we did have a post show, so you guys can check that out, both on audio and on visual, all podcast platforms. So definitely go and check it out, and definitely go and support us on audio too. If you just played in the background, I'll really appreciate it. I think everybody else on WW2 will really appreciate it too. So just just take a gander, take a listen.
And we have great voices. I'm just saying.
Yes, we do.
There is that too.
We have great voices. We're
who's going to SummerSlam? So Honey and Courtney will be, well, they're on the East Coast, so they will be around. That is my birthday weekend, and I've been in the midst of my birth season. So I will not be at SummerSlam.
Oh,
sorry,
y'all. Sorry,
damn.
Sorry,
trying to get the whole crew out here, man.
I will not be there. I will be traveling.
Okay. Well, I know who else will be there. It will be CM Punk and Gunther. Boom. We saw them face off in a heated exchange this past week on Monday. Punk always being the defiant that he is, and just pretty much standing 10 toes down on his business. He's not afraid of anything or anybody. He's pretty much done all he has in his career. There's nothing for him to be afraid of. Gunther is just, pretty much running his, I wouldn't say he's running his course, but I'm just saying he's just pretty much carrying this title and pretty much just trying to find, I think it's just they're just trying to find a way to still pivot from everything that happened with Seth. I felt like this was supposed to go in a different direction, but we ended up having a gauntlet that CM Punk won, so now we have them too. But I'm interested and intrigued to see what goes down with this. But we also talked about this on Kayfabe podcast last night. I'm going to ask you, boss lady, who needs this win more? Does CM Punk need this title win more to achieve gold finally? Or does Gunther need this win to have a proper defense and a clean win as opposed to everything that he's gone through this year?
I mean, I feel like CM Punk needs it more. I mean, it's kind of like he's kind of come close to the mountaintop a couple of times, and then it just didn't, it didn't happen based off a storyline, or this is how they all planned it. But I feel like for as young as he looks, his time is limited. And when I mean like limited, it could be another, 5 to 10 years. Do we see him in 20 years? No, I don't think so. So I feel like we should really take advantage of, who we have right now, because we have a whole bunch of people. We just talked about NXT. We have a whole bunch of superstars, NXT, Evolve, TNA, that are, itching to get to that main roster. So it's like, take advantage of what he has right now. Now, I've also said this last week, I think, either before or after Evolve, that I feel like WWE, their storytelling and their plans of things are so on point. Like they've swerved us, or I'd say me, a couple times with Naomi. So I feel like something's going to come about. I feel like it's not like, okay, let's see where we can stick CM Punk. I feel like they have a plan. If I were working it through, I think now is the time to kind of pull the trigger for him, because I want to see what he's going to do with that. What does he do when he's on top? Because we had a lot of people like, you've had him chasing, you've had him, fighting for, to avenge certain things. But what
the main event WrestleMania,
right? Like, what does he do when he's actually on top? What type of leader? And this is,
and that's you know what, boss lady, that's a really good question. What does in 2025 a world heavyweight champion in CM Punk look like? That is a really cool image. But what kind of title reign does that look like? Only because you know, I don't like to put age on anybody, but time does its thing.
Right.
And, you know, CM Punk, he has gas left in the tank, but we're not going to sit here and say he has another 10 years left in the tank. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's 46. It's possible because he's straight edge. He can do 56. Do we see him wrestling on a schedule as rigorous as WWE at 66?
Absolutely
no,
absolutely not.
I don't even think you'd want to.
No.
Like, so it's just kind of one of those things where it's like, you know, we can, I think the envelope is getting pushed for all superstars based off of, you know, medical and all the things that you're seeing, you know, superstars, a lot of them in their 40s wrestling, and they look fine. It's not like they're broken up, but you know, when you're looking at 66 years old, like, you know, who knows? They might find something, but I don't think you would want to. If you built yourself to such a point where, you know, you've had a career that you wanted, and you can go out like you want to, you have the chance to go out like you want to, then I would like to exit gracefully, like Cena, who's calling the shots. And not everybody's gonna have a Cena goodbye. It's gonna be very, you know, the percentage is gonna be very small. But if you could write your own story and your career, and you've done so much, and now you can write your exit story. Like, do it on your own terms. I was listening to Pat McAfee, where he was talking about why we haven't seen him, and he was getting burnt out. The fact that he can go to his boss and like, look, I'm getting burnt out. I need a moment. And they're saying, okay, take your moment, come back when, like, a lot of people don't get that.
Yeah.
Right.
You get burnt out, and then you just keep going until you can't go anymore, until a doctor has to write a note and you're in the, like, it's all those things. So to be able to recognize that and say, look, I need a moment.
And you could kind of tell it was showing. You could tell like it was kind of showing with Pat McAfee. Like, he was everywhere, and he was doing a lot,
like literally, and also
especially between doing Raw and then having to go around to do the college football, then do your own show at ESPN, then have to do Fanatics, then have to do this and that, then have to do press work for the preview shows and all that stuff at the PLE. So that's a lot, and also be a dad and a husband, like.
And also get ready for training camp too.
We are all human. We are all in a very unique business where it could actually blend, where your lifestyle and your work can actually blend, but it's just a point of finding that fine line of balance and being able to balance, you know, the work ethic and being home. You know, you can't bring everything all at once. It's something that I've heard like Dom mention as well, when a lot of people were concerned about the whole storyline with Liv and things like that. And how does your wife handle? She knows that when he's home, that's husband.
He's locked in.
And when he's locked in, that's it. Like, that's my baby. This is my man. This is my husband. We're home. We're chilling. We're not talking about anything that has to do with wrestling. But the minute he's on that TV, that's Dirty Dom and the greatest luchador without to never don a mask.
Yeah, it's a different area, but to be able to do that, you know, it's so,
and a match at Mania getting chopped up by Gunther in between that, like, yeah, that's a lot. So shout outs to people who to be able to have the emotional maturity to recognize that, because you don't want to crash out while also risking your pockets. You know, you never want that to ever play a factor. You need to make sure you take care of yourself first, your mental stability, your mental health, whatever it is that's bothering physically. Even you need to just lay your body down and rest. Yeah. Just because you're sleeping doesn't mean you're actually resting, and you need to rest in this kind of business.
Yeah, it's not for the weak.
And other highlights that happened for Monday Night Raw as well, besides Gunther and CM Punk, Raquel and Roxanne Perez, the latest member of Judgment Day, has successfully just keep on defending their tag titles. And I think it's just very interesting to see this journey unfold, and them welcoming Roxanne with such open arms, you know, being that at first she was just not, you know, Raquel wasn't really with it. And all of a sudden Raquel's just, you know, she's giving her the look right here. Like, you know what? You ain't so bad.
When you're winning.
When you win, I mean, you can't complain, right? You can't complain. I guess not.
You can't complain. Like
you still have the belts.
Judgment Day is on the up and up. Okay, this is damn near just as good as a Judgment Day when it was just 4 of them and they all had titles. Okay, this is pretty. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty
so
crazy.
So here's the question: if Liv didn't get injured, do you think Judgment Day would still be around?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
I think if Liv didn't get injured, there would be a story where Roxanne has completely sabotaged this group from the inside and take over.
And we would have got Finn. If we would have got Finn versus Dom.
Yeah, we definitely would have gotten a Finn versus Dom. If Liv was still here, I definitely didn't see the men winning back the tag titles. That's for sure. I don't know, but you never know. Like all it takes is a Thanos snap to change anything.
Oh my gosh. I just finished watching Spider-Man. I'm like going down the rabbit hole.
Which one?
Which version?
The 2017 Homecoming.
Oh, Homecoming.
That one.
Yeah, it's quite fascinating. And this is, I'm going to tie this all together, y'all. It's quite fascinating when you look at the arc of storytelling in general. Like whether it be wrestling, comics, the Bible, all that stuff. And those who believe, those who don't believe, I would just say read it. And it's fascinating when you look at the arc of everything, and there's certain similarities, and that's why I really love wrestling. That's why I like even watching like the Marvel. It's just like the arc of storytelling and human beings and how they process things, and when people legitimately think that they're right and they're doing it for the good of humanity, but it's not for the good of humanity. Like all those things, and even with wrestling, you look at that; it's all very similar, which makes it just fascinating. Because it's like there's not that much a difference, and if you actually appreciate a good story, it doesn't matter what you're watching.
Oh yeah,
you can appreciate it.
I agree with that. That's the same. Like I literally caught the last bit of the first Marvel's Avengers. When they had them all together in the first Marvel Avengers and everything like that, and that ending and the way, Tony Stark coming in and the scenes, how everybody kept jumping from one to the other, and you kept seeing their individual fights into their big fight where they're all in a circle in a unit, and it's just and even the people that are working for them, Agent Coulson and Samuel Jackson's character for the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and everything. It's just so cool, how everything affects everything, and it's just the emotional connection. I get emotionally connected to movies like that, especially when it tells such deep stories about these big larger than life characters, like the ones we see in wrestling, like the ones we see in movies, but totally completely humanizing them throughout and picking apart their character throughout the story to then develop them into their full form that they're supposed to be by the end of it all. And then, they conquer and happy ending and blah, blah, and all that stuff. But it's just, I feel like that's what's going on with the Judgment Day too. Yep. There's literally Judgment Day has secretly been on its way to being one of the longest stories being told in WWE.
Aside from
the Bloodline story.
Wow, because when you really think about it.
If you think about it, Judgment Day was pretty much formed up with Edge, when Edge was still in WWE and everything like that. And Roman was just beginning that journey with Jay as the right-hand man and all of this stuff, and molding the Usos to do his bidding, to be his lackeys and stuff. It's Judgment Day deserves a lot of credit for how far it has come and how far it has evolved, because just like the Bloodline story, if you look at Judgment Day when it started and Bloodline when it started, and then look at it now, both of them, you wouldn't think it could get this far or this big. So I really like the intrigue behind what Judgment Day is doing, and the fact that the whole thing about Liv and Finn Balor just easily just writing Liv off like nothing. And it's just, it's so crazy to see how far it's come. But these girls are putting in the work, and they're definitely showing that they got what it takes to carry this women's tag team division. I mean, it's the Prodigy and Big Mommy. You can't be mad at it. And then of course,
I can't forget this guy.
And then of course, if you couldn't get any more highlights than this, we did briefly touch upon this last night, but we had the Tribal Yeet last night. Tribal Chief and the main event, Jey Uso together, arm in arm, against the Bronze, which I thought was freaking hilarious.
Bronze.
Yeah, the
Bronze.
When he said that when he said on his Instagram and put up his Instagram while he was walking the treadmill, I was crying my eyes out. I was like, you got to stop playing Roman. I can't. We're about to see a Roman that's just literally out here having fun.
Is that kind of like the pathway of Brock Lesnar?
I think so. When he had the Money in the Bank briefcase and was dancing with it, or when he did the cowboy thing.
Yeah, when he was Cowboy Brock.
When he had the tractor, Cowboy Brock. I would think that's probably the most similar and the best. But Roman Reigns yeeting is something I did not think it would be on my bingo card so soon. Especially being that he was not the advocate of the word. He very much heavily disliked it. But now to see him come full circle to be and I mentioned this last night as well on Kayfabe, to be a humble tribal chief, to acknowledge the fact that Solo, the Usos, and Sammy helped you get where you are today, get you to be the tribal chief. Also to acknowledge the fans, which is something that I mentioned last night that Roman never ever did the whole time he was tribal chief. He always demanded that the fans acknowledge him, but never one time did this man acknowledge the fans, and he did that this past week. So I thought that was something very important to note about Roman Reigns going forward. This Roman Reigns is definitely this tribal chief version of Roman Reigns is definitely on a different path. He's on a greater path. He's just having fun at this point. He has nothing to prove. At this point, it's just about destroying Seth's creation.
There it is.
Yep.
The Bronze.
And then now we got a match added to SummerSlam.
Yes, that's right. They announced the tag team matchup because Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns were having some exchanges on social media, as well as Jey Uso responding to the fact that he wants the smoke. I got this. I got you, big cuz. I will definitely be by your side for SummerSlam. So I think this is, I think the heat is picking up, y'all. This bill's gonna be really high by the end of the month, just so you know.
There it is.
Oh my goodness, Dylan.
Fightful gonna pick WWE Roman Reigns. Listen.
Oh my gosh.
Roman Reigns. Now, I'm not saying that he was never humble, and I'm not going to sit here and give any excuses as to why I don't think he. But when Roman Reigns first became the tribal chief, he was not very humble. He was very.
Would you have been?
Very much.
If you held the championship for 4 years,
very, very much a bully. Very much a bully to his cousins and everything in the beginning, of course, because that's what happens when you get to a level where you just got it and you're it, and that's it. You're the money draw. There's no denying that. But we're not gonna. What? So what? Everybody needs a slice of humble pie every now and then. And that's cool. But he gave it to himself. Nobody else gave it to him. He acknowledged it. And that's what we call accountability, folks.
Oh my gosh. That would be so funny if we did why is Roman so humble, and we see him in therapy. Him realizing where did I stumble? That would be
literally unraveling comedy. The mind of the tribal chief and how you got here. That's so funny.
Oh my god.
Ooh, cousin Ron spending the birthday in MetLife. Hey, very nice.
Nice.
I think nonetheless the tag team match is going to be awesome. SummerSlam is definitely taking shape greatly. We did have a separate story for Jey Uso, but I'm just putting this picture up because it's an awesome picture. He did respond and say, yes, I will be by your side, Roman, and we're going to handle business on SummerSlam. Oh my God. You know what, Jeffrey, when Naomi did that, I cannot. Stephanie Vacra.
I'm surprised
however you say it.
I'm surprised Stephanie didn't break character. She was just had that solid face, and I thought she at least had a chuckle.
I couldn't help but think that I thought she was gonna break. For some reason, I thought she was gonna break. If I was Naomi, I probably would have ended up breaking myself. That was too funny.
Was funny.
She's been amazing.
Dylan says,
Dr. Shelby. Oh my God, Dr. Shelby.
Roman Reigns should go and see Dr. Shelby.
Dr.
No.
Shelby.
Oh God. Anyways, well,
What do
speaking
we
of
else?
doctors, there's word around that Devon Dudley has been not necessarily with a doctor, but with a miracle man. I'm going to call him DDP. Working on DDP yoga as well. We also saw that this past week at Slammiversary, you know, after the Hardys retained their titles, Bubba Ray Dudley did confront them and say, with the crowd saying one more match, indicating that there is a possibility for one more match, and there's definitely going to be one more match. So we talked about it last night as well. Just pretty much trying to cover the bases of see how well Devon's progress has been going. He says he has definitely gone through a big weight drop, and he's been doing a lot better. So congratulations and shout outs to him, and shout outs to DDP, continuously saving lives out here, and just regaining the strength of our old legends and Hall of Famers as well. So anybody care to comment on Devon Dudley making that return for the Dudley boys one more time with the Hardys?
I mean, I think that when you're an athlete and then you kind of lose your way, especially if you've been training so often and so long, and then you're like, yo, I need a moment. I don't need to be training 6 hours a day or whatever. And then to find it again, because you know what the mountaintop looks like, and then have the motivation. I mean, it's always good. And then it extends your health. I think that those things, it's like when you've been an athlete and then you're stopped being athletic, it's kind of one of those things where you actually decrease your health. Like, you know what I'm saying? Whereas if you weren't an athlete and, you've kind of always just kind of been in an okay, steady state, like you did a little bit of the gym and all this other stuff. But when you kind of hit that point and then you stop and then you start again, it's an amazing feeling. So definitely kudos to him. I'm sure his family's feeling it. His kids are seeing it. Your life is different. It's just the mental state. So I like it. Congratulations to him.
Yeah,
for sure.
Congratulations. Maria, I'm looking at you in the chat saying you don't need the Hardys and Team 3D in 2025. Let me tell you something, because there's a lot of history if you never watched it in their prime. And I said this last night on Kayfabe that Bubba Ray mentioned on Slammiversary. This year is actually the 25th anniversary of their tables match at the Royal Rumble in Madison Square Garden back in January.
My God.
And this is a full circle moment for them, especially if you were there at that match or watched it at home or whatever at a bar. You realize that was one of the matches that did pivot that tag team division. And seeing it one last time, oh my goodness, especially if you were just a fan. But Dylan, I know it's not on TNA. It's on TNA. It's not WWE. I get it, but I don't care how many minutes it is. I'm just happy to get in the match. And also, it's going to be at Bound for Glory in Massachusetts. And also, it may be an interesting card, because I wouldn't mind going to Massachusetts to see them one last match. Just see them do it one last time, having that full circle moment.
So hello, nobodies. That's hilarious.
But one last time final match, but it's just nice to see the teams that we grew up with as preteens, teenagers, even when we were in college, just having that full circle moment. And also shout out to DDP. He's just doing the man's work. He made Lex Luger walk again. He helped out many other people where they were going through so many.
We got Dudley Boys versus Hardys coming to us later this year. We have CM Punk about to go for the World Heavyweight Championship. We have 25 years of Stratisfaction. We have Undertaker rolling in the red carpet for new superstars and being a mentor with Bubba Ray Dudley and other legends. And we have, you know what I mean? John Cena retiring. There's just Roman Reigns yeeting. It's just, what else can we get? What else? I think we're getting spoiled.
So much to come. So much to come.
But yeah, I don't care. You could bring me back to anything Attitude Era, and I'm not going to be mad at it. Devon, you come back and do your damn thing, because I will watch.
Well, yeah, and this is not like your mom's podcast, or not your mom's podcast. This is not like your
your mom's podcast. Your mom.
It's not your mom's podcast. This is not like like
that would be a great title.
Yeah, look at CM Punk. He's 46 years old, right? If you look, or here's a great example: the Golden Girls. Think of them; they were portrayed in their 40s.
Yes,
and look at CM Punk, and look at Trish. Like the 40s and the 50-year and the 60-year-olds. They're not like what they were 10, 20 years ago. Like they put in the work. Like Trish could still go.
Yes.
So it's nice to see like that, and so why not bring them back? So I want to see it.
I'm here for it.
I'm here for it. I mean, come on, it's gonna be in Massachusetts. Come on.
I'm for it. What do we got next?
Huge congratulations to Miss Katana Chance, formerly known as Katana Chance. She has been engaged. Somebody's popped the question, and we love here on WWT. So we just want to give that a quick shout out as well. Look how happy they look. Look how happy she is. Look at her pretty smile.
I love it.
You never forget those moments. Never forget those moments. But shout outs to them and their newfound happiness. Wish them all the best, and congratulations to Miss Casey. Also, I saw we had some news about Natalia as well.
The boss put it in work. She's taking care of business.
She's making her Lucha Libre debut for AAA on July 25th, which would literally be in 2 days. This lady, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know why did we keep her on the list last night, Courtney?
No, unfortunately.
We didn't keep her on the list last night, Courtney.
We will talk about this because that was very hard to do. It was hard.
CK, I think you would have enjoyed last night's kayfabe episode because there was a list that is going to come up that is pretty much going to determine our debate in the future over the greatest Canadian wrestlers in history.
Okay.
And we had up to 6 names left. If you missed it, I would recommend you go back and watch it. It is towards the end, so you could skip to the end of the video, and then if you want to start it over and watch it another time, you can do that as well. But we do talk about it towards the end of the video. I forget all of the 6 names, but we did remove Natty from that list, and I'm not sure why, but I'm really sad. I'm really sad that we did.
Was Seth on that show?
Yeah, he was.
Seth was on the show. Professor was on the show. Will, Dion, myself, Courtney, and it was quite the time. But we were really stuck on between. There was either leaving a top 5 list, or we keep the list or we keep the 2 on the list that we were debating. We had 6 names left, and we were stuck getting rid of one. And we kept going back and forth. I don't know how long we went back and forth over Trish Stratus and Kenny Omega.
Yeah, that was
and who should be removed. And me and Will and I and a couple of us were advocating for Trish. We were like, I can't take Trish off this list. It's not like and Professor was making great cases, fantastic, valid cases as to why Kenny Omega should have stayed on this list. And they were like, so what do? Do we just vote for one or do we keep all 6? Because we ended up keeping all 6 names, but Natty unfortunately wasn't on that list. I really tried really hard to keep her
the levels of disrespect. But okay.
But the boat, man. The boat.
It was a very tough one because I did not, but then with Kenny, and not trying to sound biased because I watch AEW on a weekly basis, but you have to think on from outside of it on the international that Kenny did, and also with the fact too, he is a really good trademark. Like every week, if he's on Dynamite, all the fans would go crazy, and also with the fact too, he has put on international. Now he hasn't wrestled in WWE, but he has put in, and I would have not known of him from Chris Jericho because Chris faced him in the Tokyo Dome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it was like we were just stuck.
Was that Jericho on the list?
Jericho was definitely on the list. There was the last 6 names were Kenny Omega, Jericho, Trish Stratus, Edge, right?
Yes.
Brett,
Stu Hart,
and Stu Hart. Because because the factors that you had to take in were Impact. Can you tell the story of wrestling without them? things like that. Roddy Piper was on this list. Lance Storm was on this list. Gail Kim was on this list.
Oh,
there was
yeah,
so many
Mahal.
people. There was so many people on this list, but
Mhm.
those were the 6 that we narrowed it down to. I mean, I didn't want to take off the boat, but she's going to be she's set to make her Lucha Libre debut at AAA on the 25th. I believe she's teaming up with Lola Vice.
Maybe that's why she's doing all this stuff, because she's not in some of those conversations, and she feels like she needs to be. And
I feel like she should. I feel like she should.
Right, but I feel like, because that's something that I would do. I feel like I know I should be on the top 5 list for whatever. I'm not going to, because there are some people, and this is beyond wrestling, I'll say, no, I need to be in the top 5, and here's right. Then there are some people's like, oh, you don't think I have to be in the top 5? I'm going to show you why I need to be in the top 5. And I feel like maybe this is the reason why you're seeing her everywhere doing different things. And obviously, she's gotten the okay from WWE, but she doesn't have to do any of this.
None of it, but she's choosing to do it.
She's choosing to do that. So I feel like when you get to the end of her career, this last portion of it might solidify in what she knows she is, and will prove like, okay, I am in the top 5 or the top, when you speak about women's wrestling or Canadian wrestling or whatever, I'm in these conversations. I feel like that this might be the reason why she's doing that. Because also another thing that we're going to start seeing that we've seen trickle down is all the people that she's training.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
So like that's going to become a thing too.
She's a mentor for a lot of people,
Mhm.
even ones that we don't know of.
She is, and she's a huge supporter of everybody, and I think that's what many people do not know. And also with the fact too, I mean, I'm still waiting for her and Maxine to have a match, because I always see the backstage. I'm like, look, I just want to see the two of them tag team and challenge for those belts.
Mm-hmm.
If we're having the conversation about the greatest Canadian wrestlers in the next 10 years, we better be putting Natty on that list.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not sure why she wouldn't be on the list now. I mean, it was a vote. It was a collective thing by vote and whatever. But in reality, in my brain, like in the future anyway, she's on right now. What she's doing is what Stu did.
Yes.
Stu was breaking barriers, creating lanes, going to different places, different promotions, working with other wrestlers, didn't matter, old and new or whatever it is. Natalya is literally on that level, to the point where she's also mentoring almost every single superstar that we like.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one, even down from making it through the Diva era and training those girls as well. Like Natalya is no joke, and also
her and Beth, Divas of Doom. I mean, come on now.
Mm-hmm.
That too. Like, there's a lot of different things about Natalya that, like, people just I don't know if people are just choosing not to see it, but the fact that she's choosing to do all this stuff and she doesn't have to proves the point that she's already better than she claims to be, better than people make her out to be, because
Mm-hmm.
she's on that level of the point where she wants to leave an impact on the women's division, and she is. There's no doubt about it. You could say whatever you like about her, whether you're joking or not. There is no denying the boat.
And also with the fact she's releasing a book later this year, and she got everything from her grandfather, Stu. Everything she got from her grandfather, because I had to stop people last night because they were taking Stu Hart off the list. I was like, no, you can't do that. No, please.
You're the first woman to survive the dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
That says it in itself right there. I'm sorry. Like, I know I wouldn't be able to survive no dungeon.
I mean, stop being petty just because.
Why don't you show up? Why don't you come up in here in the chat?
You know why he hasn't shown up? Is because my client my client gave Mercedes her first loss. That's why, from all in Texas.
That's why I said, you know what? He's upset. He's still upset about last night because Mercedes, you missed it. Look, I really shouldn't even say it. I should just say, go watch the episode.
Mercedes is gonna be fine. I mean, look, she's gonna collect her belt. She's gonna get it. No, Jeffrey, I have to get there because he slandered my client for the last couple weeks.
Said
a lot too long. You said a lot, and also you slandered my football team, by the way, because we play you guys later in the year in Spain.
Oh, said hit my music. Which one? Because you got a couple in here, sir.
Oh my goodness. Before we do that, do you want to do the AEW Dynamite preview for Dylan?
We actually did start that. It was only 2 things.
Perfect. Only 2 things.
Only 2 things announced that we got it out the way.
Well, actually, Boza said there was a third match in the chat, but I think they're going to leave out for surprises because it's their second full week in Chicago. It's Shark Week this week.
Dylan, that's funny. That's funny. I should look for that. I'm in the thing now. Let me see. Enhancements.
Oh my god, I can't.
It'll be specifically for Raw.
Stop it.
What else do we got?
We got one last thing here. Some news, of course, from a very controversial fellow that we know very well. Mr. Eric Bischoff has openly stated that he predicts actually that TNA could overtake AEW as the number 2 promotion literally by this time next year, quote unquote. He did a recent appearance on the Ariel Helwani show. And he pretty much made a very bold prediction on how well TNA wrestling is going and, you know, how it could potentially surpass AEW. Thoughts on this, ladies?
I unfortunately, I think it's actually possible. There's certain things that AEW, and maybe you could speak to more of this, Courtney, but to me, it just certain things that AEW is just kind of missing. And I don't know. And also too, it's still in its infancy. TNA has been around for a long time. WWE has been around for a long time. So we have to kind of let AEW cook. But in this era where everything's moving so fast, and you know, the partnership that TNA now has with WWE, which has a jetpack full of, I mean, I don't know who has more money, you know, Tony Khan or TKO. I'm assuming TKO, but I don't know. But the marketing and everything that WWE is doing and TNA is doing, it's just kind of paling into comparison to AEW, because, you know, WWE, TKO, TNA, Netflix, they have so many extensions into mainstream media that it's definitely possible. Like, you know, see it, like I can definitely see NXT being something of its own show within CW, which it is, but people just specifically watch that because they just watch all the shows on CW. They're supportive. Like, it's just because how they do the shows on NXT is very like how they do the vignettes and stuff like that. It's very CW-esque if you kind of picked up. So it's just kind of like I could see that they're doing things marketing wise that, you know, is making it's making sense. So I can definitely see that. I feel like AEW is missing something. I just don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it.
Organization.
That's another thing too.
Structure.
I had to really look at this because I can't say some parts of it he's not wrong. But also with the fact too, you're comparing a wrestling company that's been around for 23 years. And also with the fact too, weren't you part of TNA when it was kind of in its downfall and everybody thought it was going to die? That's what I thought too. And I get you're pretty salty about AEW. I mean, it's no surprise because you were there in 2020 for AEW and you're probably very salty to get in a position, which that could be another factor in. But there are some things in AEW. I mean, sure, they've been there for 6 years. They're now starting to get their deal with Warner Brothers. They're now starting to do on Max. So you really can't compare that with TNA. I mean, sure, organization and structure, that's key. But also getting your presence of your women's division, having more than at least 2 or 3 of your ladies on your roster, that would be good. And just figuring out, like, having a reset on this, because I said this a couple weeks ago after All in Texas, they have to do a reset on their tag team division. They have to do a reset on their women's division and really figuring out what is the end goal and vision, because you're already going to Wembley next year. That is already confirmed. So also you're doing this residency in Chicago. You got Forbidden Door in London. You're also doing another residency in Philadelphia. So I think this is something where they kind of really need to think and re-strategize, and also hosting a lot of your stars media opportunities, because I follow the PR Twitter account and I do follow AEW. So it's good to have a little more presence, and also for them to get a lot of opportunities on Warner Brothers and Max. So that's also another opportunity too. And the TNA, they're alive and cooking. They're cooking. They're very well. And Eric, look, listen. You've already had your share of TNA. You already had your share of AEW. And I get you are doing something, but focus on that instead of comparing the two. Because this is a good time. It's wrestling. We're all enjoying this. And everybody's going to have their paths and just have to figure out what's working, what's not working, and just go from there. And just let them do that. That's why we're pushing. We're definitely pushing for AEW, because I want all of them to do work, but I want their women's division. That's why I've been pushing on my watch along, because I want them to be better. I want them to have a presence. Tony, I'm just saying. You
listen up, Tony. Listen
I'm
up.
just saying, Tony Khan.
Tony.
He did a live on Twitter earlier today. I'm just saying.
A live on Twitter.
I'm just saying.
Tony Khan? Oh my goodness.
I don't know, man.
How did he have time?
There's just things that Tony does where I'm like, if I was in your position, I wouldn't be doing those things.
I would be sitting down with you and thinking, what's going through your head? That's what I want to do, like off the record interview, just sitting like, what are you thinking about right now?
Like, he doesn't need to announce or justify or explain or whatever. I think that's the thing that ruins it for me about Tony Khan. I think that's what it is. It's saying that you're this grand magician, you have this great magic show, right? So you have this great magic show, you're this grand wizard, this grand magician, you have these awesome tricks and all this stuff, and I'm going to put on the best show for you, right? And you put on all these shows and all this stuff, and you do it. And then after that, you're done and you completely explain everything you did, even the trick. Like, I don't want to know the magic behind the trick that you made, Tony. I just want to know. I just want to see the magic. Just stop.
She just wants to see the magic, y'all.
Stop
just
making the announcement. Just show us the trick.
Like, stop being stubborn. Stop being stubborn, Tony.
I feel like he's not as, because remember when he used to go on these rants and compare himself, like he used to compare himself to WWE. I feel like he doesn't do that as much.
Triple H doesn't do the same thing. Triple H doesn't explain.
He doesn't do it. He doesn't do it publicly.
No, he doesn't do it publicly. And mind you, the whole show that they're going to be basing it on, I guess, is one of the things that Professor was saying that he gets a little upset about when they say, when they try to tell you all the ingredients to the sauce that they made in the food, like all the seasoning and stuff like that. Like, the Unreal is kind of going to do that. It's just peeling back a little layers, but Triple H doesn't go on live as soon as the show's done and say, we put this match in this spot and changed and pivoted because of Seth with this, because of this, this, and this. He's not going to do that. He doesn't do the same thing that Tony does. It's not the same thing. He will give you the numbers because numbers don't lie.
Right.
And that's it.
Well, it's interesting because you're also looking at, like, I had a really great conversation with somebody who's, kind of like a wrestling legend about how they weren't excited about this and why. But when you look at, and again, if you don't want to see it, like, it's just like the people who don't like spoilers. I respect it. I don't mind spoilers. Give me all the spoilers. There you guys can.
We know
go,
that.
Yeah, you guys know. The reason behind that. But I feel like you can almost anything that is made. You can find, like, even down to Marvel. There's a section where you can watch how they do everything. It's within Disney. You see it on the Disney Channel. So I don't think we can get away. I don't think we can really get away from it. The only thing you can do is avoid it if you don't want to see it. So But like I said, I'm for it. I like knowing how this stuff is made, especially like if you take something totally different, like sausage, for instance, and you figured out how sausage is really made. I know. Yeah, it's just kind of like,
all right, Maria, I'm just going to touch upon this though, because I don't believe Triple H said out of his mouth that it was all part of the plan. What had happened was someone asked him about R-Truth being released, and he said, "Are you enjoying the show?" He didn't necessarily say it was part of the plan.
Right.
He gave you the right answer to keep you guessing. We don't have to know everything.
Right. And are we going to know everything?
Some of us don't want to know.
Right. And are they going to show everything? I don't think they're going to show everything, depending on how long the show is. I don't know if both of you know, or you guys know, if it's an hour or 30 minutes. I don't think there's a way of editing things together where they don't show everything. Like, I legitimately watched this girl because for you guys, some of you guys who don't know, we have like a travel blog that's coming out. But I literally watched this girl talk about what to wear to the airport. She spent 30 minutes. Mind you, she didn't really give what to wear for the airport until like the last 5 minutes. But I was like more curious, like, okay, well, I know what I do. I have a whole system. Is your system the same as my system? Whatever. Right. It's really depending on the editing. And I don't think that they're going to give away everything. There's certain things that I've learned through talking to other wrestlers that I'm sure the majority of the population doesn't know that goes on. Right. They're not going to, I just don't see them giving away everything. I see them creating another show for people like me who are curious to see, okay, well, what really happens? And you might get tidbits of stuff that we already knew. Right. So it's just kind of one of those things where I don't think they're going to say, okay, well, we're going to go step by step as far as how this storyline happened and how we got here. I just don't see them giving that away, because there is still an element of surprise, which they're doing really well now. There's still an element of storytelling, which they're doing really well. I feel like they're doing it so well that they're going to swerve us in this show. Like, they're not going to give us everything. And if they do give us everything, there's a reason why. Yeah. There's so many cooks in the kitchen, and they're actually really good cooks in the kitchen right now, that I really have faith that they're not going to, like, okay, here you guys go. Here are all the magic tricks. I just don't see it happening. No. Now, there will be some people who are upset, and the people who don't want to watch it just don't watch it.
You still don't watch it. It's not that hard. Don't watch it.
There's a fine line now with the era that we are in, because especially with us, with our ages, we have seen what it's like during the era where there were certain things that needed to be kept, the whole kayfabe thing, mm-hmm. the whole behind the curtain kind of thing. We've seen that era and how precious it was to those stars then mm-hmm. seeing that breakthrough into a reality era where there's a fine line between what's real and what's not, or what's true and what's not. Mm-hmm. Then now to the point where everything's just all out there, but you don't know what to believe. Right. I think it's a very unique.
And it's across the board with everything. It's not even just wrestling. It's the news.
Everything. Like, we think we know just because it's there in our phone and we see it, mm-hmm. that's news. That's real. Mm-hmm. And it might not be, but it's very unique how, like, we've come this far, because you still have to, I think the challenge for WWE, or for the wrestling business as a whole period, when doing these kinds of things like a documentary, like Unreal, where they peel back layers, is that it might not, to a lot of old school heads, this might not be a good idea.
Yeah. A lot of them are like,
a lot of them still keep that to their grave, that kayfabe, boom, like the work, like you won't know if it's a work or not. Like, you don't know anything. But then there's also the elements of WWE wanting to be able to peel some layers because the fans are curious. We do want to know in small ways how the magic is put together, not necessarily the trick, but how it comes together.
Right.
And WWE's challenge, and the wrestling business as a whole's challenge when doing these documentaries, I think, is to be able to create that fine line of respect for both eras, where it was reality, and also keeping the mysteriousness and the mystique of kayfabe through the golden era and the golden age of wrestling, like from the from the earlier days, just to keep that respect to the legends of everybody before us. You know what I mean? So I think that's going to be the toughest challenge going forward.
Well, this is a really Unreal is scripted, not real, and that's the thing too. A lot of reality shows.
That's a crazy line.
It is. Because a lot of the reality shows are not. They're very much. I don't even know if you guys know. I don't know if you guys know. So I was part of a team for a reality show, and we did it. If you dig in the crates for VH1, you'll see me on it. And at the end of the day, when we went through the process, it's one of those things where it's just like it's all scripted. So, and here it goes again. So say we have this show, right? And say hypothetically it's unreal, but it's real, but it's scripted, right? They're going to show certain things. They might actually create storylines within that story. That, the dirt sheets are going to pick up. We're now going to report about, and now it's going to create a whole thing. So it's like you don't really, and that's why I'm saying it's almost across the board, which is, I'll give you a prime example, which is not, it's a sad example. Malcolm Jamal Warner. He goes to the gym. He's a friend of mine. And when I saw it, I didn't believe it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, no, this is not. And I actually had to talk to people who like are far more closer. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like everything where we are in society right now, which is not the greatest place to be, especially where it happens to be news, aside from wrestling, is just kind of like, you look at stuff and you're not sure. The article might not be, you have to check with the source of the article, but even the source of the article, depending on where that, like everything is up for questioning, and it's not a great place to be in. But where wrestling is concerned and entertainment's concerned, it actually is a great place to be in, because you really don't know.
You want to learn about that. It reminds me, as somebody said it here in the comments, it reminds me of the times when they used to have behind the music. You know what I mean? Like behind the music of show, like, episodes of artists and stuff, and how they came up with this album, or how they, built this out, like, or how they came up with this song and stuff like that, or Michael Jackson behind the scenes, documentary behind the music video, the making of, or whatever. Like, I like things like that. I do enjoy that. So I think I think it's really intriguing to see what WWE does with this documentary, how far it goes.
I know. I've been seeing this pop up like everywhere. It's crazy, and people are like, I'm like, it was such a great interview. That was such a funny interview. That was after the Usos had the rap battle with New Day.
Oh my god!
It was a great moment. But shout out to them. I don't know how I can get all the money from it though, because I have been seeing it pop up everything, and it's like, I know y'all making money from this, but whatever, it is what it is.
Cut the check, y'all. Cut the check.
I know, cut the check, or at least tag us. Jeez.
Something. Show us some love.
Something. But yeah, no, I feel like I feel like the fear that the people who think we're giving away everything, or they're going to give away everything, I feel like they don't have to fear. I feel like there's going to be a fine balance, and I feel like there's certain things that are going to be given to us that we're thinking, oh, this is it. This is how it gets made.
They're going to say something. We're like, what did you say? Like, what are they hinting at? What does that mean?
Right.
Like, now it's going to make you dig deeper. That's it. It's just creating another story for us.
It's creating another story. It's going to create you wanting to watch the product to see, okay, how do we make the connections? Like, so for me, like people like me who watch that, I hear something and then I'll go and look it up, and then I'll watch something else to back up what my theory is, or to say, okay, well, that theory is incorrect.
Right.
Like, there was, I can't remember which Marvel thing was, but they made a reference to one of the Avengers getting injured, and it was Doctor Strange. And I'm like, okay, does that? So I stopped it and I looked it up to make sure. And then I went back to the original movie to see if that it correlated, right? Like all those little things. If you're into, like, that's why I like watching I don't watch the behind the scenes to just say, okay, I've seen it. I watch the behind the scenes to now, like, almost like not fact check, but it's like, okay, I'm listening to this. Does this correlate with everything? they never did hit his music. Oh my gosh.
I can't.
But you know what?
If you're not gonna pop in,
that part.
You can pop in anytime you want.
If you're the music can't be played if you're not ready. And Gorilla said,
"Boom." Is that all? Because I know, Courtney, you have to get ready for Dynamite.
Yes, indeed. Ooh. I think that's pretty much it. That's all I got. Those are all the slides I got here.
All right. Yeah. Well, there it is. Well, where can everybody find you, honey?
You guys can find me here every now and then, trying to make my face back here. WWT Live Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. This Friday, no watch along. Unfortunately, Honey Pot is going to be busy in the evening shift, so I will not be around. Just to give you guys a heads up. But I did hear something about a certain mayor possibly covering the Friday shift. That apparently that was told to me last night on kayfabe. I'm just trying to make sure that
he better keep his word.
Just keeping the word, just holding it down. I'm just saying. So, that's if he appears in here anyway. But, and wrestlingwithhoney.com launching 2026 as well. Got a lot of cool things in the works. Literally was working poolside with Patchu today on some cool ideas and things that I'm working on for y'all. I can't wait to get into that. Also, all things Wrestling with Honey on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and all the social media stuff. Wrestling with Honey YouTube as well. And if you guys are around in the tri-state next week, hit your girl up.
There it is.
Let's link up, y'all.
Courtney.
The people can find me top of the hour for Timeless Elite Wednesday, not CEO Wednesday. So that ain't crushing my show. It is Timeless Elite Wednesday. Get it right. And we are in our second week of Chicago residency with AEW Dynamite. Make sure to catch all the action with me, play-by-play, as they're on the road to Forbidden Door. They can also find me chirping sporadically on WWT, appearing any way as I can. Follow me on my socials at CourtneyNJ11 because I got a lot of stuff happening with content. Lots of stuff. And like Honey says, if you're around next week, next weekend SummerSlam, it's in Jersey. Feel free to hang out with us. Also, please make sure to follow ISPW Wrestling because next week they have a big show in Wildwood, New Jersey.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Wildwood, New Jersey. You gotta check it out. And also, yours truly is on the commentary side. So we got a lot of stuff for summer. We're trying to get ready for fall. So if you want to see independent wrestling in the summer, head on out to Jersey.
There it is. You can follow me everywhere at TK Trinidad. Check out check out I've been traveling quite a few places, so you can check out all the restaurants, etc. All the projects that have been happening. The Women's Wrestling Archive is going. We got a really great partner. So I'm really, really excited about that. So it might launch sooner than we think. So which is great. But yeah, check out Women's Wrestling Talk on all social media platforms at www.talkpod.com. Articles, review shows, all that great stuff. And I am back in the country, y'all, unscathed. So we are going to be doing our top matches of the week starting next week as well. So yeah, check that all out. Thank you guys so much for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Ciao for now.
Thanks for joining WWT. Don't forget to like us on all social media platforms at WW Talk Pod. Like and subscribe on all video and audio platforms like yesterday, my G. And check out our website at www.talkpod.com. Thanks for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.